Today on the Tiger Football Report, we'll preview Towson's finale against the Rhode Island Rams. Get ready, fans. The Tiger Football Report starts now.
And here we have 1893 from the makers of Pepsi Cola. I'm gonna swirl it. I'm gonna smell it. I'm just gonna take one small sip.
Kinda seemed like more than a sip.
Yeah, let me show you. Refined.
1893, made with cola nut extract and real sugar. Boldly blended colas.
For an athlete, there's nothing scarier than a torn ACL.
Athletes trust us with their care and their careers because we're a recognized leader in sports medicine.
Get back to your active life sooner with MedStar Sports Medicine.
Wise Market's ice cream plant is based in Sunbury, Pennsylvania, and locally owned and operated. We've been making our ice cream for nearly 50 years. We create roughly 70 flavors of ice cream right now. We use local ingredients, especially our cream, which is from our milk plant. The cream is what gives our ice cream a rich and creamy texture. Now, together with our customers, we've created a product called Peanut Butter Indulgence, which will be coming out this summer. It's a peanut butter ice cream with sea salt caramel swirl and chocolate-covered pretzel. How could you go wrong with that? Personally, I love our ice cream. If you come to our house at any given time, you'll find at least 5 packages of ice cream in our freezer. Our kids grew up eating Wise quality ice cream, and now we get to treat our grandchildren to it. It's been a pleasure for me to be tasting ice cream for over 40 years for Wise Markets, and I'm loving every minute of it.
Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Tiger Football Report. I'm your host, Spiro Morekas. The Tigers will wrap up their season with a game on the road against the University of Rhode Island. As always, I'm joined by the head coach of the Tigers, Rob Ambrose. And Coach, Rhode Island was a team that really was having a bad season. Hadn't won a game in the conference, and then last week they go down to E-Line, trailed early. They come back and they trounce the Phoenix 44-14, just in time for you to play them.
Come on, we've gotten to the point now where we get everybody's best every week. It's really an impressive thing. Seriously, it's a very impressive thing to go as far away from home as they did, and considering what happened to them the week before where they got trounced by JMU, like impressively trounced. And I've had to deal with this in some manner or aspect with the kids and all the negativity that goes along with, not being perennially winning or, having bad things happen. And that's tough for kids today. Kids that don't have to deal with resilience to, mommy, daddy tell you it's okay and everybody gets a trophy. And to fight that, to be able to keep competing, sometimes is a challenge for these kids. And to see those kids from Rhode Island come back from a huge loss against James Madison says a lot about the kids, says a lot about the coaching staff up there. And there's no quit in them. I've got them every game on film. There is no quit in them. And it'll be their senior day. And I'm sure we're going to get their best.
All right. It seems like every year Towson finishes with Rhode Island. Is this something that we're going to see is this something that the CAA has decided that Towson and Rhode Island will finish the season against each other every year? Almost like we're a rival or something?
No. There's computer-generated schedule modules that, now you're talking about stuff that's mathematical, so I'm out. And I've just taken it for granted that we're taking our annual November trek to New England. That's just what happens. I think there was a period of years where we just finished the season at New Hampshire. So somebody in the conference wants us to go to New England in November. And it doesn't really matter. Anywhere, anytime, doesn't matter.
Well, you've had success up there, not only against New Hampshire but Rhode Island. As a matter of fact, in 2011, you won the CAA championship by beating the Rams the final week of the season. Last year, you pulled off, I think, your best coaching job ever when you had half your team suspended for the final game against the Rams, and you beat them here at Johnny Unitas Stadium. Obviously, the players on that Ram team are going to remember that you've had a lot of success, and now they are confident because they've gotten that conference victory, and they want to end their season on a good note, much like you do.
Sure. And while all of that is true, when you put the pads, you put the helmet on, none of that stuff matters. There's a guy across from you, there's a team across from you, and there's a job that needs to be done. And we're going to get their best, and clearly they're going to get our best. And this is how many times you heard me say, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And in the way things are going, we're progressing, we're getting better, and we need to finish on that note.
They are a team that has struggled offensively. They only average about 15 points a game. They've thrown 19 interceptions this year. When you look at them on offense, what do you see?
A team that, what you just said, in the early part of the year, the team struggling for identity, really. They couldn't figure out how they want to do it. Made some changes in the offense in the last 3 weeks and have been increasing their offensive production massively. Their big hang-up is the turnovers. That's one of the things that's killing them. So, he's probably teaching the same thing I am. We don't turn the ball over, we're going to have a chance to win the ball game. But they've become rather dynamic in the last couple weeks.
For your team, for the seniors, it's their final game. And I know I talked to a lot of the freshmen, football, basketball, and lacrosse, and say to them that, you got to take each game seriously because you only have a finite amount. And I guarantee you these seniors are finding it hard to believe that their careers are coming to an end this Saturday afternoon.
There's a couple guys that just in a normal course of events of a day, I see them around the building, see them in the offices, and they're watching film. If I look at a senior too long, certain ones, they start to get choked up and they know. And the end of a player's career, whenever it is one of the hardest things to ever deal with. When you play the game as long as these guys play the game, it's something, some guys say the virus, some refer to it as love. It's a combination of both, and it's deeper. It really is. It's ingrained in your DNA. And when it ends, you feel like part of you has died because it's been part of your everyday life, your persona for so long. So getting these guys at a younger age to appreciate, you only have too many, so many snaps to play. That I tell, and for anybody that's watching, tell your sons this. You will stop playing football at a time not of your choosing. In the history of history, almost no one has ever ended when they really wanted it to. They may have said that, but in their heart of hearts, they always wanted to keep playing. Hell, Brett Favre still thinks he can play. That's a tough thing to deal with. So they've done a really good job in the last couple of weeks squeezing the juice out of just every day, just enjoying the game, enjoying the brotherhood, enjoying the hard work, hell, enjoying the pain, enjoying the hitting. As Tran would tell you all the time, I gotta get out in public, I can't hit anybody anymore, I gotta grow up. So, no, it's a bittersweet thing. I'm gonna miss him.
And, at halftime of this past week's game, I had one of your former teammates on, Paul Brock. And Paul talked about how he's still in touch with guys that he played college football with. And these guys, they'll have a bond that most college students don't have when they leave college, but the football players have that bond.
The only comparison, and I can't adequately do this, but the only one that I've heard is in the military. That through the crucible of extremely physical, mental, and psychological challenging experiences, you create a bond that is deeper than blood. And unless you've lived life in a locker room, unless you've experienced those things, unless you've sweat, bled, and cried with another human being on a regular basis, you just can't understand it. And it's one of those things where if you pick up the phone 20 years later, you just talked yesterday, even though you haven't spoken. And you would pretty much drop everything and do anything for your brother. It's that deep. And I'm lucky to be a part of a game that is so good, that can do so much for so many. And it's taught these guys how to be resilient in life, how to get up, how to be knocked down and not lay there. And say there are things more important, and they're going to be better men, they're going to be better fathers, they're going to be better employees, better husbands because of the game. I'm lucky to be a part.
Unbelievable, but our final show here tonight, after it seems like just yesterday we were talking about South Florida. The Tigers and Rams will kick off at high noon. I'll have the call on TowsonTigers.com and CBS Sports Radio 1300 with Gordy Combs at 11:45. Coach, again, thank you for all you've done this year. And it's not going to be that long before we're talking. I don't know who you open with next year. Is Maryland the first game of the year? I don't know.
No idea. Just worried about who we're playing next week.
That will do it for today's episode of the Tiger Football Report. For head coach Rob Ambrose, I'm Spiro Morekas. Thanks for joining us, and as always, go Tigers.